I want you to know something, that a book is never just a book. And what does that mean? It means that it carries a piece of who you are, but most importantly, it has the power to change both your lives and the life of someone else. You know, a book is just the beginning, it's not the end. In fact, many people always think that once they publish the book, that's the end. But I feel like people need to talk about the life beyond the books. And I'm going to give real testimonies of people's life beyond the book, right? A book is more than ink on paper, it's more than you typing down, printing. It's more than that. It carries your identity, it carries your experiences, it carries your lessons, it carries your legacy, right? So for many readers, a book becomes healing, right? It becomes healing, it becomes direction, it becomes encouragement, it becomes transformation. But you see, for the author, it often becomes the beginning of opportunities they never imagined. And I know this personally because I've also gone through this myself. I remember when I wrote my first book, 2024. I will never forget, April 22nd. I wrote my first book and I was just so delighted to write it. But I remember when I wrote that book, I heard a still voice from God tell me this is going to be the beginning of more. But is the word he used? He said this book will open doors to wealth. That does not make sense, because how does book open doors to wealth? It does. Why? Because that book then transformed into the Purpose University, which then transformed to a platform that builds wealth. I have courses, I have programs, and I've been able to build a life where I feel free, I feel good. I don't feel like I'm tired all the time. Yes, I put in the work, right? Don't let people deceive you that when you have your own business, there's no work to be done. There is, but there's a difference in the work, because I feel so much accomplished in my life, being able to help people. The joy I get when someone tells me, "Oh, I read your book, my life was transformed," or "Oh my God, this changed my life." It does something to you, because now you're not driving from a place of, "Oh, I just want to be known." You're now moving in the place of, "Oh, I just impacted this person's life. This person was about to do something bad and read my book." I remember one of our authors, she was telling me how she went for a networking event and she was having a conversation with someone. And because one of the things she told in her book is a very sensitive book, so I can't really give the context. You have to read the book. It's called Lost But Then Found. I'll put it on here just to promote our students. Um, Check it out. It's a very good book about healing, restoration, how she went through a lot, almost killed herself, and so much more. But she was saying, when she was having a conversation, the person was telling her how someone of her friend just lost someone and they wish that they had the book, and she was telling him that a book is transforming lives because it shows people the light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know how beautiful that is for someone to tell you that? I even tell people that my life was transformed from one book. It was not a podcast that changed. It was a book. The Bible transformed my life, but I'll never forget the book Knowing God's Plan for Your Life by Kenneth E. Hagin. I always talk about it because that book actually transformed my life. So I say this because the greatest value of writing a book isn't simply selling copies. That is good. That is beautiful. But it's becoming the person you were created to be while helping others become who they were created to be. That is the most beautiful thing about a book. So the question now is, how is there life beyond books? What does that even mean? When someone tells you that there's life beyond the book, what is that? What does that mean? What are they trying to say? That there is a whole opportunity and journey and lifestyle that comes out of writing books. I know many people that have quit their jobs because they're selling books, ebooks, audibles, and so much more. But this is not just only about that. This is about you knowing your voice matters and then using that voice to help somebody else's voice matter. That is a a chain of event that keeps going. And that is the kind of thing that builds impact over a period of time. So I want you to know the first thing first is that every book carries the identity of its author. It does. I learned this personally, even if it's a romance novel, even if it's a real novel, it's fictional or non-fictional. Every book you read carries a fragment of the author in it. And a book reflects the author's values, experiences, beliefs, and perspective. So people not just read your words, they experience a part of you. You have to understand that your book reveals you. It's a fragment of who you are. It's a fragment of your storytelling. That's you. That's your way. That's your thinking. That's your perspective. Whether it's you're writing a fictional book, a non-fictional book, there is a fragment of your personality in that book, and people can see it. I was talking about this Jane Austen book, where she wrote a love book, and I watched the movie, I think Persuasion, and I was like, wow, you can see this woman in all of her movies and all of her books. Her character is in there, her personality is in there, her voice is in there, her tone is in there. So always have that consciousness that people don't just read your book, they discover parts of who you are. And one of the things, and we always talk about that fear of being seen. I think that the fear of being seen is based off the perspective of what being seen is. I feel like we've misunderstood what being seen means, right? And I always give this analogy. Imagine you're carrying a basket of water, like you have water that you to give to people. You have this, you want to give it to people, so you're carrying it, and right in front of you, there is a big truck filled with water, but the water they're carrying is sparkling water. And you're like, oh, so they're passing, you guys are all on the same street. The people that are standing in front of their door waiting to receive water. And you see them going to people's house, dropping the water and going. You pass people's houses and you don't even attempt to give water to them. And I used to say, what if the people there don't want sparkling water? Right? What if they want still water? And only you carry still water. Only you carry still water. Will you just pass them by because you feel like, well, I don't want them to know that I carry still water, so I'm not going to help them? Would you do that? And you see someone choking and dying, like they are legit choking about to die because they need still water. They don't drink sparkling water. Or the truck behind you, trailer behind you is carrying a whole truck full of another type of water, flavored water. They don't like flavored water. They don't like sparkling water. They like normal, natural, still water, spring water. And you have a whole basket, cart, trolley, just a small trolley of it. Are you going to pass those people starving of the water because you feel like you don't deserve, you don't want to be seen, you don't want them to know that you sell water? No, you don't sell for yourself, you sell for the people. And that's one thing I always say is that when you start thinking, changing your perspective, that it's not just all about me, it's about people. I feel like we've created a people that are so self-centered and it's all selfish and it's just, oh, me and what am I gonna get from it, or what's the catch? Sometimes there is no catch, but along the line, some results and fruits do not bear fruit immediately. Some trees grow slower than others, but I tell you this, that there's always going to be a proof of that result from years to come. Stop focusing on the quantity, but the quality. So that when I say that, I want you to understand that it's important for you to see your book beyond just a book. Another thing is that books can heal. I know this one. I've had clients tell me that writing your books became part of their healing journey, especially those that write kind of books that maybe it's like a memoir or biography, or a fiction about their story, but they just write, it heals them. I remember one of our clients, when she showed me her book and I read it, and I was just crying. because it healed part of me that I didn't even know it needed to be healed. And I just kept thinking, imagine this woman didn't write this book. Imagine this girl did not write this book. What would have happened? What would have happened? Like I felt so much encouraged that day. I felt I was about to give up. I was just done. And that book just encouraged me. But she was telling me that everything she wrote was a fragment of what she was going through. It's a fictional book, by the way. Her name is not in it, but the story is about what she's going through. And I said, wow. And that's when I realized that writing allows you to process experience. It allows you to find clarity. It allows you to discover purpose. It allows you to transform pain into impact. There are many people that have gone through things, but don't die with that pain. Don't just live life with the pain alone. Convert that pain into purpose. Because sometimes the first life your book changes is yours. My book changed my life. My first book changed my life. Without that first book, I wouldn't have had Purpose University and be able to impact so many people's lives and help them write their books, help them expand that book, help them understand the identity of what it means to be an author. All of that would have not been possible if I never wrote my first book. So I'm saying this to you, that books can heal. It does. It healed those voices of never being enough. It healed those voices of never being seen. Writing a book is not a joke. You fight a lot of demons. A lot of voices that, oh, your voice don't matter. Why are you doing this? You fight a lot of things to write a book. But it heals you. Another thing is that books leaves a legacy. The other day I was reading a book by Dr. Miles Monroe, which is another of my mentors that I listen to. And as I was reading his books, I have a whole bookshelf. I wish I could show you my bookshelf of his books. It's like a whole bookshelf. And I feel like showing you guys my bookshelf. But as I was reading the book, I was like, wait a minute. This man is not alive. It's not with us anymore. He's no longer with us. But people keep buying his books. And then I asked, so where is the royalties going to? Who is it going to? And it dawned on me that long after you're gone, your ideas will always remain. Because books preserve wisdom across generations. When this man was teaching, I wasn't even born yet. I was not even born yet. And the moment I discovered his book, he was no longer with us. God rest his soul. He was no longer with us. But I've learned a lot from his books. And I always talk about the book that transformed my life. The person wasn't alive when I read the book, but the wisdom was still there. It didn't die. It did not die. This is why stories continue to inspire after decades and even centuries later. Why? Because it was stored in a paper called a book. So books leave a legacy. They do. They're not just, there for just, oh, I'm just writing a book. So it leaves legacy. It creates opportunities for you. It bets forth opportunities. And even listen to the next point. Books open unexpected doors. You guys have heard the story so many times that I think I've said it too many times. How my first book made me launch the Purpose University, which is a platform that helps you fulfill purpose through books. And converting that idea from idea to an actual book. All of this would have not been able if I never wrote my book. You see, a single book can lead to speaking opportunities. I've been invited to speak at podcasts because of my book. In fact, there was this private community that I was invited to speak to the women regarding my book, A Woman Like Rebecca, about what it means to be like understanding a woman, the stages of a woman, and the offices of a woman. Like that's what I talked about in that book. That was my first book. And I'm speaking to this group of women, and these women are crying. I'm sharing contents of the book. Like They are so emotional. I'm just like, wow, all of this would not be possible if I never wrote the book in the first place. Invited to media interviews, invited to business partnerships, consulting, coaching, international influence. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Your book becomes your ambassador. I want you to understand that the book is just there, yeah, but learn how, see beyond the papers. I saw beyond the paper, right? I saw beyond it. And I said to myself, I am I'm not I am not going to just see this physical book as this is just it. No. I am going to see beyond it, and I'm going to see what the possibilities that this can create. And even with that confidence that God gave me in my mind to focus on, when He told me this is going to open doors for wealth, opportunities, I didn't understand at first, but now I understand. 2 years after, I mean, it's roughly almost 2 years, I can see my first book was launched April 22nd, 2024. So basically, roughly it's 2 years because April is past now. 2 years after, I've been able to launch something so good. I've been able to build a good foundation, a good system, a good structure, a good business that helps people write their books, but not just write any book, write books that impact, that converts problem to a solution and into transformation. And that would have not been able to happen if I never wrote my first book. So think beyond it. Think beyond it. Your book is your ambassador. Always say it. My book is my ambassador. Look at Solomon. There's a there's a man in the Bible. He wrote the book of Proverbs. It says that a wealthy queen came all the way from Ethiopia. She came all the way to come and hear him in person. So she basically booked a one-on-one consultation. That's how Marion Golding explains it. She booked a one-on-one consultation just to see if what he wrote in his book matched what he was saying. And the man hasn't even said anything, but just even looking at the way everything was organized and structured, she's like, wow, this person knows what they're doing. And she gave him more and more. She paid millions and millions and millions of dollars after just one consultation. But that woman would have ever known of a King Solomon if she never read his book called the Book of Proverbs. So, if kings are writing books, what about you? Why are you not writing one? If people from different countries are coming because of someone's book, what is stopping you? Your book can open doors. And I think the last thing I want to say is that write the book for yourself first. And I know I said it because you're going to be like, well, anytime you've been saying to think about others. Yes. But even though your book can impact thousands, before it changes someone else's life, it changes yours first. That one book changed my life first internally before I was able to change others' lives. Right? Because one thing that writing would do is that it will develop confidence, it will develop discipline, it will develop clarity, it will develop purpose. And the journey of becoming an author is transformational. It is. Ask anyone that has written a book, they will tell you. You are completely transformed when you write your book. Because a lot of things will have to die. The fear of being seen, the lack of habit. You need to build better time management skills to write a book. You do. So it's going to build character. It's going to build your ideology. It's going to build your system. It's going to build you as a person. So it is a very first place of rebranding yourself is even writing a book because it's going to build character. If you've ever wondered, where do I begin? Where can I start, Anita? Because honestly, all these things you said, I really want to do them. Then the Ultimate 3 bundle is your starting point. The Ultimate 3 bundle, in fact, the Ultimate 3 was created to help you understand what it means to become an author, and how it teaches you the process of becoming an author from identity work to execution to expansion. And it's showing you how Everything starts long before writing the first chapter. It equips you with the mindset, the identity, the practical framework that you actually do need to move from uncertainty to purposeful action. It helps you with that. And it's that that is your starting point. Now we have two types. We have the book and we have the program. Now the program is a community that's going to help you with clarity, confidence, and it's going to help you in the process. I'm not going to talk too much about it. The program is very accessible, very affordable as well, where you can be able to at least join the Ultimate 3 and, learn your thing. And the books are included in the program. So in the community program where you pay monthly. But if you say, well, I just want to start very small, then start with the ultimate bundle. It is the ebook plus the reflection journal. You have them together for one price. For you to access it so that you can be able to use it. You can scan the QR code, or you can, the description it's in the link. It's in the description below. The link is in the description below. So you can access that and start from there. I want you to take action, and I want you to comment, I took action, Anita. After you watch this video, comment, I did it. I bought the book. I did it. I was able to do it. It just means so much to me that you're willing to be able to take that step. That is your starting point. Now, if you say, well, I don't really have the $20 and I want to start from where I'm starting from, we have accessible free content for you to be able to access. We have the author within, we have the bookmaker guidebook. We have some few things to help you get started. So there's not really an excuse, really, guys. Start somewhere. You can even join our email list, and we send tips every Monday to just help you in your journey. You can watch our YouTube channels. We have lots of tips to help you. There's so many resources that are there to help you. But if you feel like you need to actually get results, not just only depending on you need a structure, then the Ultimate 3 program is the best place to be to get started. It's just $49.99 per month. That's basically it to get started. That is basically roughly a meal. So instead of you buying Starbucks or your coffee for a week, invest that coffee that that wasn't even, if you're comparing the price, that was like 2-3 days Starbucks. Or if you say you're buying a meal is like what, $25. If you say, well, you know what, I'm not going to buy 2 meals this week, I'm going to focus on investing this in this month on actually becoming and just writing our book and just even learning, being around people that have also done it is a very good thing. Having life coach, we meet lively to teach and to answer your questions and the things that you're going through. Then this is the place for you. Scan the QR code and join the program today. But if you want to just start from where you want to, you don't want that much of, you just want to start somewhere, then the Ultimate 3 bundle of the ebook and the reflection journal is where you can start. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. I would prefer you get the program, because if you actually compare the price, the reflection journal and the book, the ebook, is already in the program. And you're only paying $50. When you spend $20 on getting the ebook and the journal, you're going to go ahead again and buy it again, the program again. So I recommend you get the program instead. That's more cost effective, but it's your choice. But anyways, guys, what are some few tips to take before we leave? Stop asking whether your story is good enough. It is. I've answered the question. It is good enough. Start seeing your experiences as valuable. Every experience is valuable. Invest in your personal growth before expecting external results. And remember, if you don't write your story, someone who needs it may never read it. And it's not just only about you, it's about the people you're called to serve. Okay? I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this to somebody. I know somebody has been asking the questions, so this is the key to helping them understand. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.